Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use join as you go crochet method to join your granny squares. First, let's get the granny squares we would like to join and make sure that they are facing right way up. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to tell which way is the right way, which way is the wrong way, but for these flower ones it's quite easily to see that the reverse side is a little bit bumpier than the front side. So make sure all the squares are facing up. And when you're joining granny squares together with join as you go method, you add in additional round. So that means that the size will grow by 1 round per square. Let me show you visually how this joining method works before we make a start. I'm going to draw these 4 granny squares on this piece of paper, and we start in joining from one of the corners and we go around, adding another round of granny stitch, but we're working in this direction which I'm just drawing on this piece of paper. So we're catching all the sides and joining them together at the same time. And some of these will be made in a normal method. So the green one will symbolize the place where you'd be working your standard granny square round like normal, and then the purple will show you where you will be joining the squares together. So adding the round and some of the ways you're going to join, and some parts you're just adding additional round so that it all matches up at the end. All the squares are going to be the same size. And if you look at it, you can see that the cross section is where you join. So that's the only part where you're using join as you go method. Rest of the squares are made just as a standard granny square, but just adding additional round to your work. You can join as many squares as you like in this method, and I quite like drawing it out on a piece of paper first, so you can just work out before you start to have a visual picture of how your squares are going to join, because I find it easier to actually start working once you have worked out how to join. And it doesn't have to be a square shape. You can join different shapes together. Just work out your joining route before you start your work. Now let's start our work. I'm using same hook and same yarn I made the squares with, and we are starting at the bottom corner of one of the squares, and join your yarn into this bottom corner, and we are starting with a cluster of 3 double crochet stitches into this corner. We are making half of a corner first, and now we're going to carry on along the side just the same way as when you're making your normal granny squares. You're just making 3 double crochet clusters into each space between the clusters of the round below. And for my granny squares, I don't make any chains in between the side clusters. I only chain in the corners. So we just add in these until we get to the corner space. And now we're creating a new corner, just like if you were doing your normal granny square. So there's no joining just yet. We just add in this additional round to your square and make your 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets into the corner space to make a new corner. So we're going to work all of that until this corner just down at the bottom here. And now that we got to that space, you see we've done 1, 2 corners, and this is our final corner which we're working without joining. We're only going to work half of the corner into this space because we now want to join the next square. Chain 2 after your first 3 double crochet cluster, and now we're going to get our next square, and we will carry on working into this corner of that new square, and again making just a half a corner, so 3 double crochet stitches into this corner space. And now this is where the join as you go method really starts. You are now going to join your work into the opposite side of the first square by slip stitching into the space between the 2 clusters. So let's slip stitch here. Let me show you. This joins the 2 sides together, and then make 3 double crochet cluster into this next space on the square what you're working on at the moment. So we've done that, and then we have to join again. So find the next space on your first square, join with the slip stitch, and then go back to working on your second square and make 3 double crochet stitches. Then again find your next space between the clusters of the first square, and once you have joined with the slip stitch there, then go back and add additional cluster to the second square, and you keep joining like this all the way until you get to the corner space. Now in the corner space we do those 3 double crochet stitches, but because it's a corner we are now going to do something slightly different. We're going to chain 1, then slip stitch into the corner space of the first square, and then make another chain before we finish off this corner by making another 3 double crochet stitches into this same corner space. And we have just completed the first part of the join as you go method. We are now going back to just adding this side clusters to the side of this square which we're working with, and we're doing this until we get in to the end of this row. As you can see now, your work definitely grows quite a lot when you're using join as you go crochet method, so please do keep that in mind, that before you start joining you need to be aware that you'll have 2 additional rounds per each join when you're joining. Especially important when you're making garments because you don't want them to be too big. We've now got to the end and we're ready to join the next square. So let's do chain 2 because this is a corner space, and we'll grab the new square, and we're going to finish this corner in the new square. So let's do 3 double crochet stitches into the corner, and now we have to join to this side which we were just working on. So let's find the next space to join. You can see it's here between those last 2 clusters, and we're going to slip stitch into that space and then go back to the square we are working on currently and make 3 double crochet stitches into this space. Now again find the next space between the clusters to join with a slip stitch, and then go back to your original square which you were working on and add 3 double crochet stitches here. It's surprisingly easy to join into the wrong space if you're not careful, so just make sure that after you have completed your cluster of 3 double crochet stitches of like sort of the work that is facing you, what you're working into, then you're going to join. You're joining into the correct space in the other square, and when you get to the corner, it's the time to do something slightly different again, because we have these chains in corners. So let's do 3 double crochet stitches first, and then we're going to chain 1 before we slip stitch to join, and we join into the center of this previous join which is already there. Just go through the center and make a slip stitch here, and then do another chain 1 before we grab our last square and add the new double crochet free cluster into this corner of this square. So let's make 3 double crochet stitches here, and we will carry on joining the same way. We're going to find the next space between the clusters, and we're going to slip stitch into that space, and then go back, making another 3 double crochet stitches to the space which is facing us. And that's the way you're going to join all the way to the end of this row. So just find the correct spaces, make your 3 double crochet cluster into the square you're working with, and join it to the square which is opposite to it. I think this is such a neat way to join your granny squares together, and I really like this method. I really hope that you will find this useful too. When you get back to the corner space, we need to add a new corner here. So we make 3 double crochet stitches just like before, then we're going to chain 1, slip stitch into the corner of the other square, which is the first square, chain 1, and then make another 3 double crochet stitches into the same corner space. And there you go, look, we've get in there with our join. We just need to now go all the way around to the other side of this current square we're working with. You can pause your video here and meet me back when you have made this extra round and have reached back to the final corner of this granny square you're working with. We are now at the final corner space of this square, and let's make 3 double crochet stitches into this space. And then after we made our 3 double crochet stitches, we chain 1, we're going to join with a slip stitch into this space where we already joined before, and then chain 1 again, turn your work, and we're now working into this corner space which was only half finished before. So we're making another 3 double crochet stitches into this space and doing our final bit of joining. So that's the corner we want to join into the next space between the 2 clusters, then going back and make the next cluster into the square we are working with at the moment, and then again find your next space and join into that space with a slip stitch, and we keep working like this until we reach the next corner space. Just slip stitch and then make another 3 double crochet stitches and slip stitch that together to the opposite side, and now we are back into the corner of this square. Make 3 double crochet stitches into the corner space, then chain 1, slip stitch to the corner on the other square, chain 1, and we have now done all of the joins. We just need to carry on working until we get back to the beginning where we started our joining of the granny squares. So this bit is fairly straightforward. We're just making 3 double crochet stitches into each space on the side, and when you get to the corner you using that to make your new corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochet stitches, chain 2, and another 3 double crochet stitches into the corner spaces. So there you go, we've just done this second corner, and then we can carry on working on the side. The only bit that's slightly different is where your 2 squares join and it's a corner space. So you go and make 3 double crochet stitches here to finish off this corner, chain 1, slip stitch into the corner space, chain 1, and then make another 3 double crochet stitches to the next square. We get to do this one more time, so I'll show you again in the spot over here where your 2 squares have a previous join. So when you get to this part of your work, we make 3 double crochet stitches into this corner space, which is like the row below. So then chain 1, join into the chain 2, which you have here from making the previous bit of joining, and then make another 3 double crochet stitches into the next corner space. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just slightly different to your normal corners. Even though you are adding the corner there, you are adding it over 2 squares, the one before and the one what comes after. And then carry on making 3 double crochet clusters, and we are nearly done. We're getting back to where we started from, and we started with half of the corner, so all we got left to do now is just finish off this corner with 3 double crochet stitches, and then make chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to where we first started, top of chain 3, and then you can fasten off your work and cut your yarn. And using this method means that you only have 2 tails to sew in once you have finished. So you have a starter tail and the end tail. I really hope you found this video useful and you will enjoy using this joining method as you join in your granny squares. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.